All right, let's dive into one of the biggest, most profound questions we humans have ever asked. We're about to go on a journey, really, from the dusty plains of Mars all the way out to planets orbiting stars light years away. All of this in the hunt for a single elusive answer. And this is it. This is the heart of the whole mystery. Our galaxy is ancient, it's enormous, and we now know it's filled with planets that could be habitable. So just by the numbers, it feels like it should be absolutely teeming with life. But the fact that we hear nothing, well, that's a deafening silence. It's called the Fermi Paradox, and it's the exact puzzle we're going to try and unpack today. Okay, so first things first. Before we can find anything, we have to know what we're even looking for. So our first stop has to be defining the target. What do scientists actually mean when they say they're searching for life? Now, what I find so fascinating about NASA's working definition is that it's not some simple checklist, like it grows or it reproduces. A fire can do that. Instead, it focuses on a process. The key isn't just having complex chemicals hanging around, it's about having a system with some kind of genetic archive, like our DNA, that can copy itself and, crucially, make mistakes and evolve over time. That right there is the fundamental difference between, say, a simple crystal and a living cell. So what does life, at least as we know it, need to get going? Well, it boils down to three key things. You need liquid water to act as a solvent, you need an energy source, like a star, and you need the right chemical building blocks. The most important of those are these 6 CHNOPS elements. That's just a handy acronym for carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur. And here's the truly mind-blowing part. These are some of the most common elements in the entire universe. Like Carl Sagan famously said, we are literally made of star stuff. But why carbon? Why not another element, like silicon? It's right below carbon on the periodic table. And this little comparison illustrates the reason perfectly. Carbon is just amazing at forming strong, stable, complex chains. When a carbon-based creature like us respires, we exhale a gas, carbon dioxide, which is super easy to get rid of. A silicon-based life form, on the other hand, well, it would produce silicon dioxide, which is basically sand. It would have to exhale solid rock. Think about that. That simple, elegant chemical fact is why the search for life is so intensely focused on carbon. Okay, so with that definition in hand, where do we even begin our search? Well, we start right here, at home. Our first stop isn't some far-flung star system. It's the most promising spots for life right here in our own solar system. Mars, of course, is our most explored neighbor. We know for a fact it used to be warmer and wetter. And the Perseverance rover, which is driving around up there right now, recently found something tantalizing. Organic carbon mixed in with minerals that on Earth would be a huge calling card for microbial life. But on Mars, they could just be weird rocks. And that is the central problem. This great ambiguity we can't really solve until we get those samples back home to study. Now, beyond Mars, the outer solar system is home to 3 absolutely incredible ocean worlds. You've got Jupiter's moon Europa, which is probably hiding a global ocean with twice as much water as all of Earth's oceans combined, all under a thick sheet of ice. Then there's Saturn's moon Enceladus, which we've confirmed has an ocean and is actively shooting geysers into space. And then you have Titan, a truly bizarre world with rivers and lakes of liquid methane. Each one of these is a totally unique target in our search. I have to say, Enceladus is especially exciting. And why? Because it's giving us a free sample. A few years back, the Cassini spacecraft actually flew right through those massive plumes that are erupting from its south pole. It literally tasted the water, and it found complex organic molecules and, this is the kicker, a chemical energy source that points directly to active hydrothermal vents on its seafloor. It has all 3 ingredients for life. Confirmed. And then there's Titan. This place is so strange it needs a completely new kind of explorer. So meet Dragonfly. It's set to launch in 2028, and it's a nuclear-powered, car-sized quadcopter that's going to fly through Titan's thick, soupy atmosphere. Its goal is to land in an ancient impact crater where liquid water, organic materials, and energy all mixed together in the past. It's going to search for signs of past water-based life and maybe, just maybe, signs of present-day weird life that might be using liquid methane instead of water. How cool is that? Okay, let's zoom out, way out. From our own cosmic backyard, we're now going to expand the search across the galaxy to planets orbiting other stars. We call them exoplanets. So how on Earth do we look for life from so incredibly far away? This number right here. This is one of the most important discoveries in the history of astronomy, and we have the Kepler Space Telescope to thank for it. Before Kepler, we really had no idea if planets like Earth were common or ridiculously rare. Now we know. It looks like up to half of all stars like our Sun probably have an Earth-sized planet in that Goldilocks zone. Not too hot, not too cold, just right for liquid water. The bottom line? Habitable real estate is abundant. And our ability to actually study these worlds is just accelerating like crazy. First, Kepler basically took a census, and it proved planets are everywhere. Now its successor, TESS, is finding the best and closest targets for us to look at more closely. The James Webb Space Telescope is analyzing their atmospheres as we speak. And then, looking ahead to the 2040s, the Habitable Worlds Observatory is being designed to do something incredible: directly take pictures of these worlds and hunt for the signs of life. And this brings us to a really recent, incredibly tantalizing story. The James Webb Telescope was looking at a distant ocean world called K2-18b, and it found a faint, tentative signal of a gas called dimethyl sulfide. Now, the reason this caused so much excitement is that here on Earth, DMS is only produced by life, specifically by marine plankton. For a minute there, it looked like we might have found a smoking gun. So, was this it? Was this the moment, the data point that changes human history forever and confirms we are not alone in the universe? Well, the answer, for now, is no. When scientists took a closer look, the signal just wasn't strong enough to be called a confirmed discovery. Plus, they realized that on a really weird world like K2-18b, there might be non-biological ways to make DMS. This whole episode was a crucial fire drill. It taught us that the first signs of life probably won't be a simple yes or no answer. It's going to be a complex, statistical, and ambiguous problem to solve. So, up to this point, we've been talking about looking for microbes, for biology. But there is a completely parallel search going on, one that isn't looking for biology at all. It's looking for technology. And it's really important to clear this up because people mix them up all the time. Astrobiology uses tools like the Mars rover and the Webb telescope to find signs of biology, things we call biosignatures. The Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, or SETI, uses massive radio telescopes on the ground to listen for signs of technology, things like a deliberate radio signal. Two different searches for two very different kinds of life. You know, the biggest challenge for modern SETI isn't building bigger telescopes, it's noise. Our own planet is screaming with radio signals, GPS, Wi-Fi, satellites, you name it. So today's search is fundamentally an AI problem. It's about teaching powerful computers how to sift through billions and billions of signals to find that one needle in the haystack that isn't made by us. And all this searching for biology and for technology brings us right back to where we started. We have a universe that seems to be full of the ingredients for life, full of habitable planets. We're looking high and low, and yet we found nothing. We are left with this great, profound, cosmic silence. The argument is so powerful because it all comes down to time. Our galaxy is billions of years old. Even if a civilization had pretty modest technology, they could explore or even colonize the entire galaxy in just a few million years. That's a total blink of an eye on cosmic timescales. So, since there's been more than enough time for someone to do this, the paradox is, why don't we see any evidence? They should be here. One possible and honestly pretty chilling answer is an idea called the Great Filter. The theory suggests there's some step in the evolution of life that is so incredibly difficult that almost no species ever makes it past. And that raises a really profound question for us, for humanity. Is that impossibly hard step something we've already conquered, or is it something that's still waiting for us in our future? And this leads to two starkly different ways to explain the silence. The Great Filter, in its more pessimistic version, suggests that intelligent life is almost destined to self-destruct. From that point of view, we're not special, we're just next in line. The rare Earth hypothesis offers a much more optimistic, maybe even a little lonely, answer. That while simple microbes might be everywhere, the long, long chain of lucky accidents that led to complex creatures like us is so wildly improbable that we might just be unique. So we're left with this monumental question. Does the silence mean we are truly alone? Just a lucky fluke in an otherwise sterile cosmos? Does it mean we're in danger, that some great filter awaits every technological civilization? Or, and this is the hopeful one,
Is it just that the universe is full of conversations, and we are still too young and too inexperienced to have figured out how to properly listen? The search continues.